Okay, sourdoughs. I want to talk quickly about sourdoughs. We're going to use the sourdough starter a couple of times in this course. So it's a good idea to get it ready to go for when your book arrives and we start the course. Okay, it's quite straightforward. I think sometimes people make it a bit more complicated than it needs to be. Essentially, keeping a sourdough starter is keeping your own live yeast running. Okay, back in the day, before commercial grade yeasts and things, the sourdough starter was what bread was made out of. As you know, there's hundreds of different types of flour, but they break down into a scale. Soft flour at one end and strong flour at the other end. Okay, soft flour is less protein, so less gluten. We use it for things like pastries and cakes that we want to be a little bit softer in texture. Strong flour at the other end is bread flour. So we wouldn't use that for pastry, with the exception of puff pastry, but we would use it for bread, we'd use it for pasta and things like that, where we need a bit more of a solid structure. In the UK, soft flour is usually called white flour or plain white flour, or it might be called cake flour. And strong flour is usually known as bread flour. Okay, and if you're unsure, just look at the protein level on the side of the packet. It should be above, strong flour should be above about 10 grams. Okay, if you get up to 11, 12, 13, then it'll be great bread flour. Okay, the best flour I've ever come across for making bread was in Canada. And I think in Sainsbury's supermarkets in the UK, they label their taste of difference range Canadian bread flour. So I don't know what it is they do to it, but it's pretty good. In France, strong flour is known as T55 and cake flour is known as T45. With the Italians, the strong flour is typo 00 and the soft flour is type 0. Back to this sourdough starter. I've got some flour and I've got some water. Okay, this is how I'm going to start my starter. About 50% of each. Okay, so now you need to make enough depending on how much you're going to be making. If your recipe calls for 200 grams, you might want to use, let's say, 200 flour and 200 water. And that way you'll have a little bit more than what you need. So there'll be some left over afterwards for keeping for the next day. I don't need to mix it up I'm mixing it up into a fairly wet sludge, okay, like this. Now to kick it off, I'm going to cheat a little bit and use a tiny speck of yeast. Okay, not much, just I'll put it along a bit. You leave it out overnight. In the morning it should have started to work, start fizzing and frothing and puffing up. Okay, and once it's done that, we're going to feed it. Okay, we're going to take out half and we're going to replace what we've taken out with more flour and water. Okay, and we're going to do that for a few days until it becomes really active, and then after that we feed it every time we use it. Okay, so if the recipe in these ones do call for 200 grams of leaven or sourdough starter, I'll take 200 grams out and I'll put back in 100 grams of water and 100 grams of flour to make up for what I've taken out. Bacteria needs 4 things to multiply and grow. Okay, it needs to have warmth, so it needs to be in a warm place, somewhere away from a draft. It needs moisture, in this case it's the water. It needs food, in this case it's the flour, and it needs time to multiply and grow. So we've got all those 4 things in the right balance, then it's going to be a great starter. So practically the way that we use this is we take a bit out for our dough, we feed it, and we leave it out on the bench, and the next day when we make bread again, we take a bit more out, we feed it, and the next day and the next day. If we're going to use it to make bread once a week, we'd feed it and put it in the fridge, removing the warmth, and it'll be a much slower process. It will still do its thing, but it will do it very slowly, and we'll only need to feed it once a week. Now, if you're not making bread every day, and it's sitting out on the bench in a nice warm place, we still need to feed it. Okay, it's like a child. If you don't feed it, it will die. So we still have to take out that 200 grams and replace it with 100 grams of water and 100 grams of flour. so that it's got fresh food and it's got moisture and it's able to reproduce. So I've mixed this up. I'll leave it out overnight. We'll come back to it in the morning and we'll see what's happened to it. The idea is that you'd do this process for 4 or 5 days, and by the end of 4 or 5 days it should be pretty potent and have a nice flavour. It adds flavour and it adds texture to a bread dough. That's why we use it. Okay, and a traditional sourdough, it would be the raising agent as well. So we would just use this and flour and some water to make our bread. We wouldn't need any extra yeast, any extra fresh yeast or dried yeast, and it would take a very long time to prove, but it'll be a delicious dough. Over the next week or so, while you wait for your book to be printed, you should get started with one of these as well. If you don't get around to it, don't panic. We can always use a pouliche, okay? And a pouliche is exactly what I've done here, but it's just left overnight, and then we'll use the whole thing and we won't carry on feeding it, okay? And that's better than nothing. So if you don't want to make one of these, or you don't get around to it, on the 2 or 3 days when we're using it, you just need to make a pouliche the night before, okay? Okay, so it's the morning after. It's day 2 for our starter, our sourdough starter. Okay, now he's been sitting out in the sun somewhere warm and attracting some natural yeast for a few hours yesterday, and then I put him in the boiler room overnight where it was nice and warm and give him the chance to start to get active. As you can see from the photo, he's starting to get a bit of life into him, but not a huge amount. Okay, it's going to take a couple more days until he starts becoming really active, but the texture is nice. So the idea is to give him something to eat. Okay, I'm going to give him 50% water, 50% flour, and then leave him for another day. I could weigh it out each time, but generally I do it by eye. Okay, it needs to have enough liquid to be wet enough, but he's got enough moisture for the bacteria to grow. And also it needs enough flour to make sure that he's got enough to eat. It still smells like flour and water. Over the next few days it's going to develop a really strong sour smell. Okay, and that's when we know it's starting to get close to being ready to use. So I'll put it back in the boiler room, leave it for another day, and we'll come back and check it then. Now, I've got my dough, my starter dough. I'm into day 4 of having started this, and it's very, very light. Can't really see it very well, but it's very light and puffy. It's full of air and it's bubbling away. I'll take that out. It's ready to use. I'll put it into my dough, depending on how much the recipe states, and then I'll feed it again. Okay. If I wasn't using it today to make bread, I'd still throw half of it away and feed it anyway. Okay, that's really important because eventually it will get so potent that it dies.